Cathrine de Medici, a name that echoes through the hallways of history, a name that is intertwined with ruthlessness and power. Has she been misjudged by her contemporaries? Was her ruthlessness solely to fight for peace in France? And how much different was she in plain politics than her contemporaries? Maybe her sole misfortune was hiding in three things: being an outsider in France, being a woman, and arriving to France during one of the most tense political situations in the country's history. In either case, she was nicknamed Madame Serpenten. She was a member of powerful Medici family from Florence, same family that provided two popes. However, becoming orphaned from a young age, Catherine was raised by her aunt, Clarice Stronzi. With influence of her family dwindling, the new Republican government deposed and exiled the Medicis from the city. Catherine was used as hostage to keep them in check, including Pope Clement VII. She was placed in the convent, where she spent her childhood, finally being released and allowed to go to Rome to live with her uncle the Pope. In 1533, Catherine married French Prince Henry, the Duke of Orleans. Henry was a second son of King Francis I, King of France. But after his older brother died in 1536, Henry became first in line to succeed his father. Catherine soon found out that her husband is more fond of his mistress, who was 2 decades older than himself, than of his wife. Having troubles getting pregnant in the first few years of marriage, the rumors started to spread of Henry getting sick of her and looking to get rid of her. However, Catherine proved them all wrong. She decided to get into her father-in-law good grace. That secured her a powerful protector in the court. Catherine was going nowhere, despite what rumors said, or her husband thought. In 1543, she gave birth to her first child and named him after her father-in-law. Little Francis was soon followed by 7 more children. She took a keen interest in her children's education, which was unusual for royals of the time. Most royals were more than happy to give that task to nannies and tutors. She practically tutored her own daughters, as well as Mary Stuart, the Queen of Scotland, who happened to be raised in French court. On July 25, 1547, her greatest ally, King Francis, died, making her husband the new King of France as Henry II. King Henry had his mistress Diane standing alongside him and the Queen Catherine, often giving her much more attention than seeing she was the facto queen. Catherine was handling herself in a stoic manner. Her life on the court was full of contradictions. From Catherine's writing, there's a clear feeling of loyalty and love toward King Henry. The Diane and her had an unusual friendly attitude toward each other. Diane even took care of her while she was sick, and she was actively involved in raising Catherine's children. However, when Diane started giving advices to the king on foreign policy, especially toward Catherine's homeland, Catherine put her in her place, to put it mildly. She got her first taste in ruling when the king went hunting and made her regent. She proved herself charismatic and persuasive politician, convincing the parliament to raise new taxes. In 1559, King Henry was hurt in a tournament when his opponent's lance broke and pierced his eye, reaching the brain. After 10 days of agonizing pain, he passed away. Catherine would dress black for the rest of her life to mourn her husband. She did, however, found time in her moment of pain to exile her husband's former mistress, Diane, from court. The new king, Francis II, took the throne, with Mary Stuart by his side as his queen. The new queen's family, the Guise, was lobbying king to take a harsher stance towards Protestants, distressed by the growing number of French Calvinists, also known as Huguenots. Mary's family, especially her mother, did not do it with the best interests of France in their mind, but they were doing it because they were afraid of alliance between England, which had Protestant Queen Elizabeth, and French Protestants. Huguenots tried to take the King Francis II hostage, tried to get him away from the influence of his in-laws. The plan failed miserably. However, the young king died only a year and a half into his reign. On December 21st, 1560, Catherine was declared regent for her younger son Charles, now King Charles IX. Catherine had an open mind when it came to religion, and much softer approach to Huguenots. She was insisting on mutual tolerance. She pushed for the formation of National Council on Theology that would equally represent Catholics and Protestants. She passed Edict of Toleration, even pardoned some of the Huguenots who were involved in attempted kidnapping of her late son. She saw what factionalism can do to a country, and what it did to her own Republic of Florence. She swore not to allow that to happen in France. The tolerance did not last for long. The new government, led by Duke of Guise, the uncle of Mary Stuart, took control of state affairs and reduced the regent's and the king's role to mostly ceremonial one. On January 29, 1562, they attacked a congregation of Huguenots, an event that soon escalated into full-on French wars of religions. Wars that would last on and off for 36 years, and by some estimates caused the death of some 3 million people. The Huguenots rallied around King of Navarre and his brother, the kingdom which supported the Huguenots' cause. The Protestants received massive financial support from Protestants' European rulers. Guise was about to take Orleans from the Huguenots' supporters when he was wounded on 18 of February 1563 by a Huguenot assassin and died 6 days later. The rumor started that Catherine was involved in the plot, starting her unfavored public image she will have in history. Catherine was back in power, but the kingdom amounted a huge debt. The economic problems were blamed on her. She was forced to further restrict the rights of Huguenots. French alliance with Spain soon fell apart, when Catherine's daughter Elizabeth died in childbirth. Catherine was crushed by loss of yet another child. However, she still decided to put the interests of France and her son, the king after all, before her personal pains. She decided to marry her youngest daughter Margaret to the heir of Kingdom of Navarre. Kingdom of Navarre has been seen as the leader of Huguenots faction. She decided to personally visit the Queen of Navarre to try to persuade her to accept the marriage. However, the Queen soon died, which caused more rumors of Catherine's involvement in yet another suspicious death. The agreement to this marriage union was reached, and on August 17, 1572, Margaret became a Queen of Navarre by marriage to King Henry III. With the Huguenots faction appeased, Catherine thought she had it all under control. That control lasted for about 5 days. King Charles' advisor, who happened to be prominent Huguenots, was badly wounded by an assassin. Again, rumors of Catherine's involvement in the incident started. He refused to leave the city, placing himself in the protection of the King Charles. Soon what followed was another trip into madness. The new Duke of Guise stormed his residence, killing him and his guards, then throwing his body out onto the street. event that would be known as Saint Bartholomew's Day Massacre. Who gave the order is not clear, but once more, rumors of Catherine's involvement started circulating. It started a new bloodshed in the country against the Huguenots. The King of Navarre, who happened to be in France, was forced to convert to Catholicism. Catherine even managed to get her younger son Henry elected as the King of Poland and Lithuania, a title he would not keep for long. On May 30th, 1574, his older brother, King Charles IX of France, died, passing him the crown. He will be crowned as King Henry III of France. Henry was not a wise king. Despite his mother's best effort to advise him, Henry was prone to lavish expenses. As only one of two of her surviving sons, it is clear from her letters how much she loved him. Nothing beats motherly love. But brotherly resentment could give it a shot. Her youngest son, Duke of Anjou, after befriending a King of Navarre, decided to support the Huguenot cause. They raised an army of loyalists and foreign volunteers and mercenaries. Catherine desperately drew up a peace settlement all parties found unsatisfactory. The Church thought it to be beneficial to the Huguenots, and Huguenots found it too generous to be trustworthy. But they all bury the war hatchet for now. But her youngest son decided to get involved in politics of Protestant Netherlands, which was eager to get heir to the French throne as their ally against the Spanish. But on June 10, 1584, Catherine received news of his sudden death, which opened up another problem. With her youngest son passing away and the current King Henry III not having an heir of his own, the Protestant Henry of Navarre was now heir presumptive to the French throne. Since Pope Sextus V excommunicated the King of Navarre, Catherine tried to persuade him to convert to Catholicism, but with no luck. As a response to Huguenots' heir to the French throne, Duke of Guise declared Charles de Bourbon, a cardinal and uncle to King of Navarre, as a candidate for crown. He formed a Catholic League that was soon joined by King of France Henry III as its nominal head. Henry III signed a treaty which revoked all rights that had been granted to Huguenots and ordered all Huguenots in the realm to renounce their heresy within 6 years or face exile. This started the longest religion war, the War of the Three Henrys. King Henry III of France, King Henry of Navarre, and the Duke of Guise, also named Henry. The Duke of Guise soon became the real power in France. With victory in his reach, he was murdered on the order of King Henry III of France in 1588, experiencing similar destiny like his father before him. Catherine was horrified at the news and dreaded the consequences of that act, but it was too late. Her influence over her son's decision was minuscule. On January 5, 1589, she passed away. Paris streets were filled with people marching and celebrating the passing of Madame Serpente.